Jeff and Sasha, there is a lot of excitement about this announcement that the Bronco and the Ranger are coming back. I have Todd Eckert here, and this is the Ford F-150. Of course, we don't have the other vehicles here for us to look at yet, but this is one of your top sellers. So what does it mean that the Ranger is coming back?
Well, as you said, F-Series, F-150, and Super Duty, it's the best-selling truck in America for 40 years consecutively, and the best-selling vehicle, bar none, for 35 years. And Ranger coming back just now continues to widen our truck lineup.
And of course, there's been a big following when we talk about Ranger and we talk about Bronco. People have wanted these vehicles to come back for quite a while. Why do you think that Ford decided now's the time?
Well, exactly that. I mean, these are names, iconic brands in the industry, and it's our customers, especially on the Ranger side, truck customers, but also Bronco customers are asking for these vehicles to come back, and we're continually innovating, continuing to listen to our customers, and that's the reason why you'll see them in the future. Ranger in 2019, Bronco in 2020.
And of course, we haven't released the specs just yet of what the Ranger will hold, but I know that you guys are always moving forward. We heard from the CEO this morning saying that you guys are really trying to bring in that new technology, something that, of course, when the Ranger and Bronco were around before, didn't have.
Absolutely. I mean, we're always continuing to innovate. As you said, we're not yet to the stage where we're announcing specs on Ranger, but we know that customers out there are looking for a maneuverable, functional, affordable mid-size pickup that's built Ford tough, and that's what we'll deliver.
And where will these be built?
These are actually both going to be built on our Michigan assembly plant, which is in Wayne, Michigan, not far from Detroit.
And of course, I know that you focus on the truck end of things here, but when we talk about the fact that we are in Detroit, the announcement was made here, and the vehicles will both be made here. What do you think that says about your company?
Well, this is a special town for us, right? I mean, this is where we're based, here in Dearborn, Michigan, and so to be able to make the announcement here, I think is very exciting for us, and always to be a big part of this show.
And clearly giving that showcase that the auto industry is starting to come back.
Absolutely. Well, and we've never left, and obviously, if these announcements, and certainly with our best-selling truck with F-Series, we're going to continue to produce trucks that our customers love, and we really thank them for their loyalty and for their salesmanship.
A lot of information coming out here at the North American International Auto Show today from Ford. One of the big focuses, self-driving. I have Greg Stevens here with me. Thanks so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
So let's talk about the vehicle behind me. This is going to hit the road come 2021, and what are we looking at?
Yeah, so this is our latest generation of our autonomous driving vehicle. Full level 4 autonomy, meaning it drives itself. The driver, the human sitting in the car now is a passenger. They're not the driver anymore. And the way we get that done is with this array of sensors you see that feed a lot of information back to a great big computer that's right now housed in the trunk, where all the software that does the decision making for automated driving happens.
And this specific one, this is not something that you're going to go to the dealership and buy. This is part of a larger program that you were telling me about, aimed at essentially easing mobility, which we just heard the CEO talking a lot about this morning.
Right, Ford becoming an automotive company as well as a mobility company. So the way this will be used, it will be used in a ride service. So you'll have an app and you'll say, I want to get from A to B, and then this car will pull up, you'll get in, it'll take you there, you'll get out, you're done. It goes and gets the next passenger.
So if I have the app on my phone, can I sit in the driver's seat?
You can, but you'll be a passenger, not a driver.
And are we going to see more of this? I know that this is starting out as a ride-sharing service. The one thing that was talked about this morning is the cost. The fact that as of right now, this is still very up and coming, so it does have a higher cost.
Yeah, absolutely. The sensors as well as the computers are relatively expensive right now. That will come down over time. But right now, you want to use this in a ride service where you can keep it moving all the time, generating revenue to offset the additional cost that goes into making it capable of driving itself.
You know, there was even the Jetsons reference that, about flying cars way down the line later in time.
Yeah.
Do you think that all of these self-driving cars really are the future?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's a revolutionary change. It really is exciting to be part of it. All the vehicles built to today have been designed to be driven by humans, and now we're designing them to drive themselves. And it's really, it unlocks so many business potential as well as mobility potentials. So this really is the future.
It's a perfect car. It fixes all the problems with the old car and it keeps the identity of the Wrangler.
And that's all Marchione would say about the new Toledo-built SUV, other than the fact we can expect to see it by the end of this year. Fiat Chrysler announced yesterday there will be 2,000 jobs created between the Toledo plant and one in Warren, Michigan. And when it comes to the jobs connected to the new Wrangler and a new pickup, he won't talk specifics, but says it's more than 700.
The numbers that we announced this morning in terms of headcounts were the minimum numbers of additional ads that we have on top of what we currently have on staff. So it's 2,000 new jobs that did not exist before.
Marchioni says once Cherokee production is moved out of Toledo in the coming months and the space is retooled for Wrangler, it will solve one of the biggest problems facing the iconic SUV.
We have been unable to satisfy international demand on the Wrangler because of U.S. demand on the vehicle. So this is going to give us an opportunity to expand Wrangler internationally, which is what we wanted.
So what about the new pickup that will be built on the Wrangler platform?
Well, it's Wrangler based, and that's all I need to say. People have been waiting for that vehicle for years.
When it comes to the men and women who work at the Toledo Assembly Complex, Marchioni once again gave them a shout out for their dedication, going on to say the new production schedule should give them a bit of a break.
Every time I've asked them, they've been on the piece. They've delivered well beyond anybody's reasonable expectations. They worked weekends, holidays, just to meet demand. I think they're going to get a reprieve now with this new investment coming on. At least the pace will slow down because the capacity will be there.
The Toledo workforce builds thousands of transmissions every day. They go into dozens of GM products, everything from small cars up to trucks and SUVs like this Cadillac Escalade. And the Toledo products are front and center here in Detroit.
Yes, Toledo has a very wide spectrum of product coming out of that facility. They're a great workforce to work with. We get a very high quality product out there, which of course is important to our marketplace.
Thousands of 6- and 8-speed transmissions are built in Toledo every day. That includes the transmission for the Corvette, full-size trucks like the Sierra, the Silverado, SUVs like the Yukon and Suburban, and cars like the Cruze and the Malibu.
There are thousands of very tiny parts that are precisely put together. I mean, it's really a kind of a work of art that we do. And then to come today and to see all of the products that we put our transmissions in is really rewarding.
Nancy Lobenthal is the plant manager, and she made the trip to Detroit today to see the Toledo products.
I've been there now about 6 months. I'm really starting to get to know everyone. I had known them by reputation for years, and so it's really nice to have an opportunity to be part of their team.
And the Toledo team just got a big boost.
We've announced quite a bit of investment going in there. Obviously, any future products I can't talk about, but the large amount of investment that's going in is really indicative of our commitment to Toledo and to the Toledo workforce.
The $670 million Toledo investment will mean expansions and job retention. But so far, no specific details about a possible new product line.
It was just about 8 weeks ago now that we announced that we were investing $670 million in the plant. I always like to tell the plant 2/3 of $1 billion in the plant. And so that's really a testament to the commitment that General Motors has to the Toledo Transmissions plant. So really good news, and more to come.
The auto show opens to the public this Saturday. For all the information you'll need, get connected, of course, to 13abc.com. In Detroit, Lisa Guyton, 13ABC, Action News.
Here at the Auto Show, it's not just about the cars, it's what's up and coming. And I have Michael Barabee with me. He is actually the Director of Vehicle Technologies Office in the Department of Energy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So talk to me about this initiative and this study that you're working on.
Well, we're really trying to look at with the fundamental disruption that's happening in transportation, in automotive, what are the energy impacts from that? There's a lot of great things, improve safety, improve accessibility that are coming, we believe, from changes in mobility, but there's also a lot of impacts on the energy side. So we're doing studies to really try to understand how will the vehicles change, how will people change their decisions about what type of trips they do, what services that they need to have, hopefully a more energy efficient future, as well as one that provides more mobility.
And real quickly, what do you think some of the roadblocks are when you talk about moving forward? I know that cost tends to be one of those where people say, I simply can't afford the all-electric vehicle.
Well, one of the things that we found really amazing in a study we just did is that when you look at the total cost, the vehicle, the amortization, but also the cost of your time, we actually showed that in many scenarios of the future, we could see a 25 to 50% reduction in the cost per mile. You might spend more on the actual vehicle or the hardware, but when you think about the time consumers get back, and as they say, time is money, we actually see there's going to be a decrease potentially, which is really part of what's driving this move to connectivity and automation.
Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of that initiative. Of course, the Department of Energy working towards those solutions Transmissions. It is a long-term plan, one that hopefully will impact you in the future. And as we move forward to the public portion of the North American International Auto Show, you have a chance to check it out. Of course, it opens to the public this coming weekend.
In addition to all the beautiful vehicles on display here at the North American International Auto Show this year, people are really talking about the technology that's loaded into them. Everything from the entry-level cars up to the high-end luxury vehicles. I'm joined by Cliff Marriott here at the Cadillac display. And Cliff, there is a lot of technology in all these Cadillacs.
There certainly is, Lisa, and great to see you again. Thanks for having me on. One of the greatest things that I think that Cadillac has done recently in my 20 years that I've been here is added a full display technology to their rear view mirror. It's actually a video rear view mirror. So they add another camera on the back of the car. You know, everybody's got a backup camera, right? Well, this secondary camera allows you to look at the mirror and take all the people that are behind you, all the pillars in the vehicle, even the roof disappears. So it increases your viewage rearward by 300%. How about that?
What do you do? Obviously, there's a lot going on in these cars these days with all this technology. Does that make it more difficult, or have they simplified the system?
Well, you remember how tough it was to turn from daytime driving to nighttime driving on your rearview mirror? So there's just a simple lever on the bottom of the mirror, and now it flicks from the camera is on and everybody is gone behind you. Or if you want to have that conversation and perhaps I'm behind you, you can look me in the eye, flick the lever, and we can have our conversation. You're like, oh, traffic's getting a little crazy, make me disappear. It's not good.
Obviously, entertainment is a big thing for a lot of people. I mean, these vehicles are loaded full of entertainment and apps and all kinds of things these days. What can we expect to find in these cars?
Well, Cadillac presented a system a few years ago, and it was called the Cadillac Q system. Q meaning the Cadillac user experience. Capacitive touchscreen, it has proximity as far as reaching your hand. So it took a lot of, let's say, extra moves for a driver to keep your attention on the road out of the equation. So it made it safer. Now, what we've done now is even added the Cadillac Collection, so more apps are available. And you know how so many people want to do different things in a vehicle? How about 4G LTE? The Wi-Fi is faster than in many people's homes, and you can be on 7 different devices, on 7 different programs, streaming, internet, homework, movies, you name it, Hulu, Netflix. I mean, it's unlimited that they can do in the vehicle now.
If you come out to the auto show, it's more than just the cars. In the atrium, before you enter the show, you'll see a lot of other vehicles. This is actually the Michigan State Police booth. They are set up here demonstrating all of their cars throughout the ages. I have Trooper Reber with me, and thanks so much for joining us.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
So these vehicles, what's the significance?
The significance is a line of our vehicles that have gone and changed throughout the course of our existence. Obviously, we don't have the horses here that we started off on, but some of the cars that we've developed into, as far as we have the 1990, it's a 95 Caprice, Chevy Caprice, which is here, and then we have the 1937 Ford, and then the 2016 Charger.
And what's the importance, in your opinion, of state police being here? A lot of times people associate police with that negative connotation.
Correct. We're out here for community outreach, which is what our department has been doing for years. It's one of the main things that we enjoy doing is getting out into the community. And this is a great way to get out in the community for just not only Detroit, but also for international people that come to see the auto show, and then statewide. And everybody likes to come down here. And when they see us, we get to talk to them and actually explain to them what we do, and then they get to see us in a different light.
And you mentioned that a trip to the auto show might result in a new career path as well.
Correct. We are recruiting heavily. We've run many schools throughout the years trying to get our numbers up, but we are looking for many young men and women and older men and women to join the ranks of the state police.
All right, so maybe if you're looking for that new job, or you simply want to check out some of the history of the Michigan State Police, here at the auto show you can do so. It is right in the atrium area before you enter the show, and this whole thing will be set up during the entire time of that public show, which runs through January 22nd.
In addition to all of the beautiful vehicles that are on display here at the North American International Auto Show, people are talking about the technology that's loaded into them, from the small entry-level cars up to the high-end luxury vehicles. Luxury is on full display in Detroit, and there's a lot of technology packed into all this horsepower. One of the showstoppers, this new Mercedes Maybach S650 Cabriolet. Only 300 will be made worldwide, with just 75 in the U.S. Audi is showing off this beautiful convertible and a lot of other new models in its lineup. BMW displaying its latest creations, everything from the all-new 4 Series convertible to the 7 Series sedan. Then there's the Alfa Romero 4C Coupe, 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds with a top speed of 160 miles per hour. And the Lincoln Continental Black Label with its own room on the display floor. And then there's this, the Cadillac Escala.
So if you look at the grille, you look at the sweeping lines, its wideness, simple design, softer, much more than what you see around us here today. All-wheel drive, all-wheel steering, light and gorgeous with new technologies that no one's even seen before.
At this point, the Escala is only a concept car.
We can say it is a 4.2-liter twin-turbo V8 engine, and its horsepower and torque ratio has not been delivered yet. So some people guess in the high fives, around that horsepower.
And while the car and a lot of the technology inside are classified as concept right now, the current Cadillac lineup is packed full of technology, like the night vision system.
People changing tires in the night, near the road, deer position to go across. It'll actually photobox those to alert the driver when it's yellow, and if they go red, the car is taking over to automatically brake.
And from Detroit to Germany, Mercedes is showing off the new E-Class models. The company describes them as some of the most intelligent in its portfolio. Among other things, they can even help you change lanes.
The vehicle has so many sensors, it has over 70 sensors thinking for you. So in the front bumper, all over the vehicle, and if the vehicle is equipped with the driver assistance package, for instance, it's basically a 360-degree sensor and camera for you.
Toledo-built Wranglers are front and center at the Jeep display in Detroit. And while they're getting plenty of attention, most of the questions are about the new model. Mark Allen is the head of Jeep design.
I don't want to get into the details yet, and why ruin the surprise? You must be terrible at Christmas, right?
As lead designer at Jeep, Allen says his job is really to get out of the way of the 75-year-old superstar.
It is challenging, honestly. From a designer perspective, we always want to just throw out the old one and in with the new one. Wrangler's so iconic, I can't do that with that.
After years of work, Allen says the new model hits the mark.
Anxiety, excitement, but I know we've done the car right, and we're very proud of what's going to be shown. And I think there's enough surprises in there that people should really look forward to it.
No details yet about those surprises, but there will of course be some exterior and interior changes. How do you redesign one of the most iconic vehicles ever made?
Through love. We love that car. But the Wrangler's not perfect, and we just try to make big, long lists of things that need to be improved on it.
At this point, we don't know what those improvements are, but we certainly got some hints.
We think that the new Wrangler is going to pick up right where the current JK is in the marketplace and be an absolute hit. But, improving on first and foremost, the capability. It's got to be the most capable vehicle. So we'll build on that, build on the refinement, build on a little bit of safety in the tech, and really just bring a more cohesive and comprehensive package to the marketplace.
And Wrangler isn't the only new Jeep coming out of Toledo. A new pickup truck is on the way.
We're excited that we're finally doing the pickup truck. It fills out Wrangler going from a single vehicle, the two-door, to the four-door, and now pickup. It's nearly its own little microcosm within the lineup, which that's fun.
And the Toledo workforce is a big part of the more than 7 decades of success. How do they really make a difference when it comes to this vehicle? Because they bring your dreams to life.
I think the biggest deal is they understand it, and the Wrangler takes some understanding. It's not anything else.
The workforce that we have in Toledo is like none other in the world.
Expect to see the new Wrangler later this year, and the Jeep pickup likely in 2019. The week started with a formal announcement about new jobs coming to the Toledo Assembly Complex as the plant gears up to make the next generation Wrangler.
It's a perfect car. It fixes all the problems with the old car and it keeps the identity of the Wrangler.
Marchione also confirmed a new Jeep pickup is coming to Toledo.
Every time I've gone into a meeting with Jeep distributors, Jeep customers, the first thing that they ask me is when are we going to roll out the Wrangler truck.
The importance of the Toledo workforce to Chrysler's success was once again made clear.
They worked weekends, holidays, just to meet demand. I think they're going to get a reprieve now with this new investment coming on. At least the pace will slow down because the capacity will be there to try and deal with the much larger number of vehicles that we're forecasting for production going forward.
Marchione also addressed President-elect Donald Trump's talk of tariffs on vehicles made in Mexico coming into the U.S.
We are going to live through a period of uncertainty, and we are going to see, in my view, and we're going to see a period of adjustment from an absolutely unrestricted, unfettered access to goods and services on a global scale to one that has got as the dominant feature the protection of national interests.
There were some lighter moments.
If I ever start tweeting, shoot me.
And as far as a potential Fiat-Chrysler merger, Marchioni had a bit of fun with making it clear that's off the table.
I was rebuffed and I got back to my green tea. Nobody wanted to dance, the music stopped. We got other things to do.
And from Jeep to GM, dozens of the automaker's vehicles have Toledo-built transmissions. And another big investment is on the way to the city.
It was just about 8 weeks ago now that we announced that we were investing $670 million in the plant. I always like to tell the plant 2/3 of $1 billion in the plant. And so that's really a testament to the commitment that General Motors has to the Toledo Transmissions plant.